Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Brandao Collection. Today, I wanted to jump on and just do a quick video going over our autograph haul from New York Comic Con 2021. We just recently released a video doing kind of a full overview of our experience and our time at New York Comic Con. And we also talked about which comic books we just added to the collection that we picked up at the convention as well. If you haven't watched that video yet, we'll have it linked right here and below in the description so you can take a chance and see our experience and talking a little bit more about our time at New York Comic Con. Now, this video is going to be going over the different autographs that we picked up during our time there, specifically the cast of the Amazon Prime show, The Boys. So those were the ones that we focused on for this particular con. This time, we met each of those different actors on the Friday of the weekend of the whole event itself. Now, they added one additional actor from the show, Jesse Usher, who plays A-Train. They added him on Sunday, of course, the one day that I am not going to be there at the show. That's the one person that I'm missing out of the people who were there that weekend, but I was able to get everybody else on that Friday. So I'm happy still with our pickups. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel. It helps us grow, helps us bring you more content just like this, and hit that bell notification to be notified when we post new videos. So what we're going to do now is we will jump over and show you each of the individual autographs we got from the cast of The Boys. All right. So jumping right into it, I'm going to kind of go in the order of how we met each of the different actors, tell you a little bit about the experience of meeting these different people. Now, the first person that I met was Chase Crawford, who plays the Deep on the show. And for anybody who's familiar with the show, who've actually seen both seasons 1 and 2 of The Boys, they'll know some of these different characters and they'll know some of the interesting things that some of these people have done throughout the history of the show so far, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen in season 3 as well. So it's interesting to see all these different fans waiting for each of these people. And Chase Crawford especially, we made a friend in the line who was there not just as a fan of The Boys, but also just a fan of him as an actor and all his other things that he's done. And so I went up. All I did for each of these actors is I just picked a photo that was on their table, something that they brought with them. I didn't bring anything to get signed, at least this time, so now I'll just have the table photos, which are perfectly fine. They had a good selection across the board. Now, the one thing that I regret kind of is not actually specifying what type of pen color I want. I should know better at this point, but I just blanked out for whatever reason, and he picked a gold pen kind of on a gold brownish background here, as you can see. So it's kind of hard to see more in person. The scan makes it pop a little bit more, but in person it's a little harder to see. So that's the only thing I really kind of regret. He has a very simple autograph, just a couple squiggles for the 2 C's for Chase Crawford. So, but overall, he was a very nice guy, and we moved on quickly from there. The next person that was sitting right next to him, and before I even move to that, I got to give a big shout out to my wife, who was there with me the 3 days of Comic-Con, and she was a big help because when we were waiting for each of the individual Boys members, the different cast members, she was waiting in the line for the next person I was going to go to. So that way, by the time I was done with one actor, I could jump right over to the next line without having to wait all the way at the back again. I could just jump in right where she was holding a spot. So I got to give her a big shout out because I know if I don't, there's going to be some issues. So I know I need to. So I give her a big shout out here. But the next person that we jumped to after Chase was Anthony Starr, who, for those Boys fans know, is the Homelander himself. One of the best characters I've ever seen on a TV show. Just how extremely messed up all that is, the backstory behind him and his character and everything. But couldn't have been a nicer guy. One of the great things as well is that he was doing quotes as well. And people didn't just request quotes, he was asking us if we wanted a quote because he was more than happy to add those. And I couldn't really think of anything right at the top of my head. So I told him, I said, if you want to put a quote, go right ahead, pick which one works the best for you. So I picked this photo, and I love the quote that he put on there. It makes it feel like I got an actual signature from Homelander, like within the universe of the boys. So it's really, really cool. I love this autograph. Another very simple autograph, but like I said, very nice guy, and it's a wonderful autograph. I really, really like it. Right after Anthony, sitting right next to him, again, moving on to the next person, was Erin Moriarty, who is Starlight or Annie on the show, another kind of main cast member of the show. She was very, very sweet. Both me and my wife had a wonderful experience with her. She was very nice. We asked her how she was doing, how was her day, and she kind of perked up and got really happy and cheery and was very nice talking to us, asking us how we are and everything. And it seemed like a lot of people in front of us had bad experiences from their way they were talking about her, just saying they were grumbling about their experience with her. And it really felt like they were thinking that she was just going to be on it and very cheery with everybody just automatically. And she was just signing and signing and signing. But the simplest thing of just asking her how her day was, not having her kind of come to us and ask about us. It's so simple just to ask, be nice to somebody and say, hey, there's still people. Like, yeah, they're on a show that we all love, but she's still a person. So it's nice to just say to her, how are you? Like, not worry about us, but how are you? And that made her feel better. So we had a very pleasant experience with her just on that. Now, her autograph, it could be a little bit better. I have friends that got her autograph back when the show first premiered back in 2019, the first season. And her autograph was vastly different than what it is now. It was a lot more full. You could see more of the letters of her full name. Now it's really just an E, an M, and then just some kind of squiggles. It's very short, but still, I had a nice experience with her, so I can always look back on these autographs and have that nice experience with that. Right after her, we actually jumped over to the other side of the autograph hall where they had the other boys cast, and the next person was Karen Fukuhara, who not only is in The Boys, but she was also Katana in the first Suicide Squad movie. I actually had met her at a local convention back when that first Suicide Squad movie came out. So when that happened, I got a comic book signed at that time, and I remember her being very nice. And it was the same thing here. She was very, very sweet. She took the time to really ask how we were doing, and I responded back to her. I was wearing this hat, so she actually asked me what it was, and she was asking questions about the YouTube channel. I was telling her about it and everything like that, and she was very kind of interested in learning more about it. So that was a nice little experience with that. And then the final person that we met right next to Karen was Jack Quaid. So he plays Huey on the show, and another great experience with him. It's funny, my wife, who was helping me with all these things, she's actually never seen The Boys. She hasn't watched one episode of The Boys, and she was still helping me out, jumping through these different lines. And while she was going through the lines, all these other people we were talking to and becoming friends with, they were letting her know little things about the show. And they let her know about the whole kind of running thing through season 2, where he's really obsessed with Billy Joel. So when we got up there, we were the last people in line before he went on his lunch break. So they capped it right at us, and then he had to run to go to his lunch before he came back a couple hours later to complete the signings. And so we went up, and my wife pulled out her phone and played some Billy Joel for him, and he really got a kick out of that. And he was like, "Okay, if I'm gonna write a quote for you, I need to write a quote from of a Billy Joel quote that I did in the show." So he asked me if that was okay, and I told him perfectly fine. So you can see right here on the photo that he put on there, "Don't you ever besmitten Billy Joel." So now I have a great story to go with that. Not only, of course, the quote, but also the story behind how that quote came to be from the show. So just another great story overall. Now, I just got to say, across the board, like I've mentioned, all of the cast members were really, really sweet, were really nice. I had great experiences with each of them, even though, of course, it's something very quick, jumping step by step. I got to say that the handling of the event at Autograph Hall, at least just from those couple people that I met that day, was great. I had a great positive experience. I was expecting from past experiences of autograph halls to be in there for hours, even just for those 5 people. And I've had those experiences before, but we did, once that first person showed up, once Chase Crawford showed up, we got all 5 people done in an hour and a half. And then we looked at ourselves and we are like, wow, okay, we still have a full day of Comic-Con to go, because this was first thing in the morning right after they opened. So we still had a full day on that Friday to go after we did these 5 autographs. So wonderful, wonderful job to the people who are running the autograph hall this year. I really hope that that keeps up for future conventions, not just in New York Comic-Con, but also other conventions that ReedPop, the people who run New York Comic-Con, that they run, because they run a lot of different ones across the country. It was wonderful to be back in front of celebrities and have them get their autograph right in front of me. This past year and a half, the majority of my collection has been from private signings, working with all these different companies that are wonderful. And I've had great experiences with these different companies doing private signings and adding these pieces to my collection. But there's always that little piece missing of being able to have a story behind each of those autographs in the collection, looking back on them, having that experience, whether it be a positive experience like this, or there's autographs in my collection that I look back on and go, wow, that person was not so nice, or that was a very weird interaction. There's a lot of those different ones in the collection that I've got over the years of going to all these different comic conventions, horror conventions, and all these other things in between. So just nice to have that interaction once again. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to be notified when we post new content. We're constantly working on new things like this. As I mentioned earlier, haul videos on autographs, comic books, more Hot Toys content coming soon. We got a few things that should be coming in the next few months, now that a few other releases have been, and a much, much more when it comes to pop culture collectibles all around. Thank you once again for joining us today, and as always, keep on collecting.